Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. Today we are here to talk about the Zippy... I actually learned how to pronounce this thing, but first I do want to add a follow-up to the Zippy video that I did yesterday. I usually hate doing this because in the future this isn't going to make any sense, but I tried to cut open a package with it yesterday, and this cutting edge and the blade itself is unusually thick. So when I was trying to open a transformer that I got, which I might make a video about in the coming days, I tried to fit the knife down in there and it just didn't fit properly. So that is the one complaint I can really levy against the Zippy blade. But let's focus on the Jimpy Machine. I went back to one of Zippy's... Zippy, oh my gosh. This is the second time I've recorded this video. The first time I dropped my Mashin on like the part of your knee where they test your reflexes, and it like actually... Whenever I bend down now, it really hurts. I also slammed my foot into this trying to avoid dropping it on my foot. And I said Zippy instead of Jimpy. So, great. Awesome. The Jimpy Machine, I went back to the original announcement post, and Jimpy had included like a pronunciation thing in parentheses, and it's M-A-S-H-E-E-N. I had no idea what to call this thing because I think I had like people telling me 3 different ways to pronounce it. Some people were saying machine, some people were saying machine, and some people, I think someone even told me like mackin or something like that. It's been confusing to say the least, but we figured it out. It's the Jimpy Machine, and this is a ballad song that, despite all of its parts not living up to what I want out of a ballad song, it's a ballad song that I find myself extremely drawn to. Like, never have I looked at a ballad song and said, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that, I'm not a huge fan of that, not a huge fan of that, and still come out with a product that I genuinely do want to purchase because of some ideas that are executed in a way that's just super unique and super fun. So we will talk about that. Wow. The first time I opened this thing, if you guys remember, and this was lent to me by Ted Flips. I'm going to send it back out to him tomorrow. I'm not keeping it. Actually, probably not tomorrow. I'm going to send it back out sometime this week. Not keeping it, just a temp trade with Ted, as was the Zippy Barracuda or Superfly. But this is a ballad song that when I first got it out of the box, I liked it, but it was a little strange. There was some strangeness with the Chaplain specifically, and me not being used to the balance of it that kind of caused some weirdness. And unfortunately, the weirdness never truly went away. It did get better, don't get me wrong. I got to a point where I could flip this thing pretty confidently. But as you guys can probably tell already with my flipping, I'm dropping it a lot. And that comes down to something that we'll talk about later. But we talked in the Zippy video about how there are ballad songs that you just never truly feel comfortable with sometimes. And I don't think I've ever gotten into a flow with the Machine where I feel like I am in complete control and there's no awkwardness at all. It just hasn't happened yet. Whether I just haven't given it enough time. Unfortunately, this did come in at the same time as literally 6 other ballad songs, one of which I will talk about next video that I have been enjoying a ton. And I think it just kind of is a victim of that. Because I don't know if I maybe need to give it more time to get used to it. But anyway, I feel like I understand it enough to talk about it at the very least in this video and explain kind of why it's a ballad song that I'm so drawn to, despite the fact that it doesn't flip specifically how I want. And that weirdness isn't really something I can explain. I wish I could, but it just kind of feels awkward whenever I flip it. Again, it's not a huge thing. Definitely not as bad as when I unboxed it. And I did take the weights out. A lot of people recommended that I take the weights out. Surprisingly, I think it's about the same for me. A lot of people were talking about it as if it like fixed the ballad song, kind of like I guess the Superfly was for me. But this, I don't know, it's lighter. It is definitely a lighter experience. And it's definitely an experience that I enjoy, but it's just never felt 100% there. So it's a little disappointing, but I still kind of love this thing. I'm going to dive into some other complaints I have just before we talk about why I love it. because my biggest complaint is definitely the grip. The grip is rough on this thing, which is surprising for a titanium balisong. I don't think I've really ever flipped a titanium balisong that I would describe as slippery, but this definitely falls into it. And I think it comes down to the way that it's finished. There is a small, barely noticeable, and really, really fine surface texturing on it, which I think contributes to kind of the slip that I'm feeling. But also the hole cutouts. The hole cutouts, there's never really a ton of your finger that's making contact with that titanium that's supposed to be really grippy, and it just isn't. And it ends up with a balisong that always, always, always slips out of my hands. And it's not helped by the fact, my biggest complaint with this thing is the jimping. The jimping does not help the situation whatsoever. If you run your finger down it, you will feel a really, really sharp, grabby jimping. And that one that makes you think, oh, wow, it reminds me of like the Thomas balisong by Call. It was a jimping that I really like because it grabbed your finger. This grabs your finger. The problem is it does that thing that I hate. It's just like the Squid Tsunami. Two really big pet peeves with this. The jimping doesn't go all the way to the end of the handle, so ultimately, when your fingers are gripping it, they're gripping the highest point rather than the jimping itself, which is this outer line. It's just like a balisong that has scales, like the Nautilus V2. The jimping doesn't go all the way out. You don't grip into it. It just kind of doesn't feel great. But also the fact that there's no jimping on the inside whatsoever. And it makes for a balisong. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a good ladderer, but I can ladder. I can ladder enough. I just can't ladder this thing. If I come over here and I grab my refault, I can keep this thing going for a pretty good amount of time and feel fairly comfortable doing it. There's never really a point where I'm like, oh no, it's going to slip away. Oh me, oh my. This thing, instantly, rotation 1, it's either sideways or it's about to fly out, and I can't do it. I just can't do it. You can call it a skill issue all you want, but I really do think that jimping is a huge contributor to the fact that I can't. And just the overall grip in general isn't the best. And yet, despite those complaints with the balance, the grip, I still kind of want one. I'm trying to get funds together so that I can get a new balisong, because it's been a while since I've actually purchased a balisong in general. And I kind of want that fund to come together around Blade Show. And I don't know what I'm going to get yet, but I think this is a high contender, whether it's secondhand or whether Jimpy brings some to Blade Show. This is a pretty high contender because despite the fact, actually another quick complaint. I don't like how much the Zen pins stick out. And they're screw-in Zen pins, which I already don't like. But they stick out pretty far, and it's kind of uncomfortable. Not a huge deal, kind of just a nitpick. But despite all of that, this is a balisong that I feel like if I flipped this and only this for like a week straight, something that just wasn't possible during the time that I had this, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, this thing is beating me up because I keep dropping it so much. It's not something that I can flip only this with all the other balisongs that I'm borrowing right now. But I feel like if I could, I would learn to really, really love it. The design is incredibly good in my eyes. You have this design language that's more kind of rounded and muted, but also kind of minimalist. There's no hole cutouts in the blade, which I really like. And you have just this simple hole, line, line, hole, line, line, hole pattern in the handles. I think the design language works very well. I think it's something that's very appealing. I really like how it looks here. And it just kind of comes together in a way that is, I don't know, neuron activating for my brain. I like it. I look at this thing and I see a design that I really, really like. And I think some of that does come down to the fact that this is kind of the selling point of the machine. The vinyl stickers that Jimpy includes for you to customize the blade. One thing that I didn't realize is that these two stickers here, these two colors, are separate pieces on the sheet that you get. So you can have, say, orange here and then green up here if you really wanted to. And I think that level of customization is something that's really, really cool. And it adds a really appealing amount of color to what is otherwise a dull gray balisong, and I really like that. Plus the fact that the black kind of ties in the Zen pin screws, which are black for some reason down here, and goes really well with this amazingly designed. Jimpy just kind of has this style where he puts a lot of info on some of his things, and I like it. There's just a lot of words. I enjoy it. It's I don't even know how I would describe it. It's almost futuristic, but I really like how much kind of word vomit is here on the side of this blade. It's lasered on there. It's not coming off, at least as far as I'm aware. I really like it. It looks really cool. And then on the other side, you've got a milled version of his logo, which is sick. It's just, there's a lot of design cues here that are very, very appealing to me. Combine that with an overall comfortable flipping experience that I could get used to if I forced myself to enough, and you have a balisong that, despite me not liking the individual pieces that make up its form, it's a balisong that I look at and go, yeah, I'd be proud to own one of those. Yeah, I want to put that on display, especially the price. I think he sells these things for about $300, which for what you get, what you're getting, especially considering a lot of Jimpy's other prices, Sentinel sells for like $400. The mini Sentinel sells for like $415 or something like that. I just feel like that's a good price. It's Nemesis V2 territory. And this is definitely something that I would probably pick over my Nemesis. As much as I do kind of miss that thing, this is something that definitely would have replaced it if I was putting that money directly back into my balisong collection when I sold it. As far as like comparisons, it has kind of that Machine-Wise-esque proportions while being a little bit shorter than an old Machine-Wise product. As you can see there, it's shorter than the Prisma Pro. It's about the same size as the Kraken, but you can see that the handles are a little shorter and the blade is like a little longer comparatively, which I like that. I like kind of the shorter handles, long blade. I think that is ultimately contributing to the weirdness that I feel with the balance, but oh well. And it's just a really fun frickin' flipper. I love it. Well, I don't love it, but I feel like I could grow to love it. And I think that's kind of the magic of it. Because it's just fun. It's appealing. It's nice. I want to pick it up. I want to flip it. It looks cool. And it's a really strange thing for me. It's a balisong that, despite me not loving it, I kind of want to buy one more than anything else. The Astra. I think the Astra is something that I would like put this as competing with, and I think I'd pick this. It's been a minute since I've tried my Astra, since I sent it out to Ted, but even though I love the handles on my Astra, like ergonomic wise, I think I prefer flipping this, and that's a really interesting feeling. So that's the Jimpy Machine. Hopefully I didn't say zippy too many times this video. Huge thank you to Ted for temp trading it to me, letting me try it out for a week or so. And huge thank you to you guys for watching. But until the next one, I'll see you guys then. Later.